Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the best cards in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM. Sorry, best shooting guards in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM here on this tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 18,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, tons of daily MyTEAM content. Trying to hit 18K by the end of January, which no doubt is going to be a heck of a grind, but I'd really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe to help me push towards that mark. Without further ado, let's hop right into this video. Unfortunately, I accidentally put Herb Jones on this video on the list twice. But we got 20 of the best shooting guards in the game. If there's anybody I left off the list that you'd like to hear my thoughts on, feel free to leave a comment and I'll let you know. And without further ado, Herb Jones probably goes, I would say, B tier. I really do think Herb Jones is one of the most slept on options at the shooting guard position in the entire game. Defensively, he is, well, I mean, not slept on. He's just one of the best budget options in the game. I wouldn't say he's super slept on, but he's really good defensively with a very good release. I understand the shot creation isn't amazing and the slashing isn't next level elite either, but he's an elite defender with an awesome release, and that is a lot of value. The Evo on him gives him a shooting Evo as well, which makes him really good, gives him pretty much every single key gold shooting badge. Really like this Herb Jones card. I think he's a great 3 and D, but I will say with the best shooting guards, he's either B or C, so wouldn't put him insanely high, but I think he's very good. Definitely think Iggy is a really good defensive shooting guard, super impactful on the defensive end of the court. His release just is not absolutely incredible, but I will say everything else about the card outside of his release really is good. He's an elite slasher, he's got good speed, he's a pretty good shooter statistically. Playmaking batters are decent, although no speed booster is disappointing. Defensively, he's awesome. I really like him. I just don't think he's quite next level elite compared to the best of the best, but I think A tier is probably fair. I think Anthony Edwards is Herb Jones level. I mean, they're about the same level. Like, I'd say pretty fair, even cards. Ant is obviously 2 tiers higher, but his release isn't as good. He's a much better shot creator and slasher than a guy like Herb Jones, but he's not quite even going to give you the defense that a guy like Herb gives you. And he's also kind of undersized, only 6'4" shooting guard position. I don't hate the Anthony Edwards card, but I don't love the card either. I think that's a pretty fair ranking for him. I have to have a couple guys in D tier, and this is one of the toughest lists that I've done all year. So in terms of how few guys I have that are top tier cards on the list. So for me, Austin Reeves actually goes D tier. I think he's one of the worst cards on this list. Not meaning he's a terrible card. I just think while he's really good offensively, defensively, he doesn't cut it, at least as a base card. Needs his duo, and even the duo does not help him out that much defensively. Incredible offensive card, but is he good enough to be very high on this list? I don't think so. Franz Wagner's 6'10", and he defends pretty well with a good release. D-book dribble style as well. I mean, there is a lot to like about this card. Slashing wise, he's okay, not insane. Defensively, again, not insane, but I think he's pretty good. His duo makes him even better, but I'll give him B tier. I think that is definitely fair. Gerald Wallace is basically a slightly worse version of Herb Jones, in my opinion. Different, I should say. Maybe not worse. I don't know. You could make an argument for him B tier too. He's not as good of a shooter as Herb is, but he's a better slasher, better shot creator than Herb, and him are pretty similar defensively. I think C tier is probably fair, but I'm just not that high on Gerald Wallace. Another card that I'm not very high on at all is J.R. Smith. I think his SIGs stink. He's not that good defensively. Slashing wise, he's fine, but it's hard to get to spots to slash if your SIGs aren't good, and his release is a little bit more baited this year as well. I don't hate J.R., but I don't think he's all that good of a card, and again, when you're looking at the best of the best, I mean, probably C tier, I guess. I guess I wouldn't go D, but I don't love the card. Another guy who's pretty mid is Jaylen Brown. Slow release, not an insane defender, but decent enough defensively, good playmaker, good slasher, pretty okay card, just never was exceptional. I was never that high on Jaylen Brown as an overall card, even when he first came out. I think C tier at best is pretty fair for him. Now, Jimmy is going to be our first S tier card. Obviously, an elite level shooting guard. I'm higher on Jimmy than most, probably, I will admit, but I think he's really, really good. I love his playmaking ability as well as his slashing. The playmaking is, I think, what separates him from most other shooting guards, though, and really differentiates the card. Another very mediocre shooting guard is Joe Johnson. Able to get every badge, yes, but a pretty baited release, not exceptional defensively, not insane SIGs. Not a card I'm that high on either. I think Kawhi is our second S tier. Really good, very great defender, really good release, slashes well, play makes well, does everything on the court at least a very solid level, if not elite, and he's an awesome card. Clay, another awesome card. Great defender, great slasher, great shooter, not an insane playmaker, but pretty good. That is his biggest weakness, but and I think compared to a couple other shooting guards, I don't have him. I mean, I don't have him top 3, but I do have him top 5. That's good enough to go S tier for me. Now, obviously, the best shooting guard in the game is Kobe Bryant. I don't think that's that much up for debate right now. He's an absolutely incredible card. Top tier option at the shooting guard position. I do believe he's S tier. Absolutely incredible card. By the way, I think MJ is D tier. His release is absolutely horrifically baited. I understand shot creation wise he's good and defensively he's amazing. He's also an elite slasher, but he has one of the very worst releases. Although I will say I like him better than Jaylen Brown. I'm switching these guys. MJ goes to C tier because of the defense. Also, J.R. Smith is the worst. I hate that card. Why am I putting him in C tier just because he's a newer card? Can't stand that card. I'm putting him in D tier as well. I don't like JR and Jaylen Brown at all. And this list is my list, my opinion. I'm putting them in the lowest tiers because they are my least favorite cards on this list. Nick Young, offensively, I love the card. Defensively, I don't. I do think he's still good enough to go B tier, though. Quite simply off of the basis of his shot creation ability, elite release, Jamal Murray behind the back, giving him an incredible escape. And then, obviously, his ability to just slash to him at super high level as well. Defensively, not awful. He's got a pretty big player build. I think he's a pretty good card. I think definitely B tier. Paul George A, not quite S, but awesome. Really good. 6'9" wing. Slashes really well with a smooth enough release. Good defender. Very, very good defender. And playmaking wise, not too bad either. I think A tier is very fair. Another really good A tier card is RJ Barrett. Great card at the shooting guard position, no doubt. Doesn't quite crack the top 5. Not quite an S tier guy, but definitely an awesome card as well. Ray Allen is an okay defender. Pretty good slasher. And very, very good shooter, obviously, at the shooting guard position. I think he's a pretty good card. I think you could definitely make an argument for him at least B tier. I wouldn't go higher than B, but I think B is definitely fair. Artest is definitely S to me. I think he's probably third right now in my personal opinion at the shooting guard position. Awesome card. Who is one of the most impactful and honestly best defensive cards in the entire game. I like Artest a little bit more than Kawhi, just because I've decided I like his release a bit better, and also he has a movable enforcer, which is a badge that Kawhi does not have. Pretty important badge, I feel like. Artest is probably the best defensive shooting guard in the game right now, or at least right at the very top. Awesome, awesome card. B-Roy, simply because of the ability to get every single badge, cracks the back of A tier to me because he still does have a very good release, and he's an awesome slasher. Even as a base card, if you have him fully badged out with things like different playmaking badges, such as maybe speed booster, upgrading the handles for days, that type of stuff, and then adding onto the shooting badges, and then obviously adding defensive badges, things like anchor, clamps, interceptor, can really make him into a super versatile, super well-rounded point or shooting guard. And I think most people who have this B-Roy card, considering he was the ultimate reward from all the way back in season 1, I would assume that the majority of people who have this B-Roy card do have him upgraded at least to a certain extent based on his badges. So with that being said, I'm looking at this list. I'm trying to decide if there's anything that I want to change. I'm kind of considering moving Anthony Edwards down because I don't love his release, but I do think I like his playmaking and his slashing as well as his defense enough where he does still hold a B tier spot. Kind of same thing with Ray Allen. Like, they're just not the diamonds that I'm the highest on, but I think they're good enough to stay in B tier. So as a whole, I'm going to leave this list like this. It's not perfectly even. I could drop a couple of guys down a tier or two so that I could make it 4, 4, 4, 4, but it's not going to be that way in this video, and I do think that is okay. But with that being said, I'd love to hear the shooting guards that y'all are running right now. Feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know which 2 guards y'all are running, because as you can see, a lot of great options. This bothers me. Gerald Wallace being in C bothers me. I'm looking back at my list. This is wrong. He's better. I legitimately think he's better than Ray Allen. I do. And I think he's better than Anthony Edwards, too. I'm moving Ray Allen down. I think Ray Allen's going to be the guy that I'm going to move down. The sacrificial lamb of sorts is going to be Ray. I think I would take Ant over him. So for me, that's going to be the last swap we're going to make. And there we go. That will finalize the video. So hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. And I appreciate y'all. Peace.